Hi, I'm Colleen, and I'm an outreach educator with Muse Knoxville. Together, we're going to explore some of the lessons we bring into your classroom so you can do them at home with us. Today, I'm back with more Float Your Boat. In Float Your Boat, you become a mechanical engineer, learning how to design, create, and test your very own boat. To gain more background knowledge on density, we'll be doing an experiment where we'll be floating and sinking items from your kitchen in a bucket of water. We'll be floating and sinking fruits. Remember, density describes the amount of space an object takes up, its volume, compared to the amount of matter in that object, its mass. We can explore density by using an equation. Density equals mass over volume. Items that are more dense than water will sink, while items that are less dense than water will float. For my experiment today, I'm going to need 3 different fruits and a large bucket of water. The 3 fruits I'm using today are oranges, lemons, and limes. I'm going to be needing 2 sets of each of these fruits. To get started with my experiment, I'm going to observe the mass and volume of these fruits by using my eyes and my hands. By looking at my fruits, I can tell that the lime is the smallest fruit. It takes up the least amount of space and has the least amount of volume. Next is my lemon. It is larger than my lime. It takes up more space and has a greater volume. Finally, my orange is the largest. It takes up the most space of all 3 and has the most volume. To compare the fruit's mass, I'll hold them in my hands and test to see which weighs the most and which weighs the least. My orange weighs the most. It has the largest mass. Then my lemon, and then my lime is the smallest with the least amount of mass. Now I can make a prediction about which fruits will sink and which fruits will float in my bucket of water. I predict that my orange will sink to the bottom of my water. I predict that the lemon will float to the top of the water. And I will predict that the lime will also float to the top of the water. Remember, fruits that are less dense than water will float, while fruits that are more dense than water will sink. Let's test out and see if our predictions are true. To test my predictions, I have my bucket of water and my 3 fruits. I'm going to see which fruits sink to the bottom and which ones float on top of the water. To get started, I'm going to use my lime. My lime sank to the bottom of the bucket of water. Next, let's try the lemon. The lemon is floating on the top of the water. Finally, let's try the orange. The orange is also floating on the top of the water. Only one of my predictions was accurate, and that's okay. What about your predictions? Doing this experiment has also given me another idea. I wonder what happens when you take the rinds off the fruit. Will they still float and sink the same way? I predict they will. What are your predictions? Taking the rinds off the fruits don't do much when you compare them to each other, but when you compare them to how they originally were, a lot has changed with mass and volume. But I'm going to keep my predictions how they were. I predict the orange and the lemon will float on the top of the water, and I predict that my lime will sink to the bottom. I'm going to put the fruits in with the rinds on and without the rinds on to see what happens. First, let's start with the orange. Remember, my orange with a rind floats. Let's try oranges without their rind. My orange without its rind is sinking to the bottom. Next, let's try the lemons. My lemon with its rind floats on the top. Let's try my lemon without its rind. My lemon without its rind, it also floats on the surface of the water. Finally, let's try the lime. My lime with its rind sinks to the bottom. Let's try the lime without its rind. My lime without its rind also sinks to the bottom. Were your predictions correct? What happened when you did your experiment? Let's talk about some things that surprised us. The unpeeled orange floats because its rind is very porous. That means it's filled with tiny air pockets. Even though you're removing mass when you peel an orange, the peeled orange is more dense, so it sinks to the bottom. Now let's talk about our lemon and our lime. A lime is 88% water by weight, while lemon is 87% water by weight. This could mean that the lemon has a higher air content, allowing it to float. People also say that limes have a denser flesh than lemons do, allowing them to hold their juice in better and also sink to the bottom. Feel free to eat your experiment now, but save some fruit for next time when we use invisible ink to write hidden messages to one another. Share with us at Muse Knoxville all of your aha moments and thoughts from this experiment. We'll see you next time.